The next speaker is Yauhenia Siadova. She is from Belarus, and she is a Belarusian event manager and educator. In Belarus, you need sometimes to think creatively when you are setting a social agenda. And today we will hear a little story about how Yauhenia and her co-creators put some focus on being homeless in Minsk. So please give a hand to Yauhenia.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Yauhenia, or short form is Zhenya, and I will tell you about LARP, which is called We Are Citizens. It was written by me and two more LARP designers from Belarus, Nadia Trutnyova and Alexandra Franskevich, and it was written 2 years ago. This is LARP actually about being homeless in the streets of a real city. How this idea came to us, why we decided to put such a cruel thing, to give such a cruel thing to the players. We made this LARP for, I will tell, for the sake of exploration. So when we are writing things, quite often we're thinking about which kind of educational focus it will have, which kind of social things. This is mostly about exploration. How can such people feel themselves? What do they think about the world? Because I have no idea. I never been in a situation when I have nothing to eat and I have nowhere to sleep, and I don't know how to warm myself up. I never been there, but I want to understand what do they feel. This kind of LARP is a possibility to take a glance. What is it? We are not telling that it's you will get everything and you will know everything about the life of such people, but it's a kind of glance that you can take. When we're saying homeless, we mean that these are people who they might have no place to sleep. They might have, but even if they have place to sleep, they still choose for some reasons a style of life which is more unsocial, I will tell, which is like not our style of life. So what we did first, me and my co-creators, we took several packs of cigarettes and went out to the street, and we were trying to find and talk with these people. That was scary because I'm the only kind of smoker among them. So I was the one who was standing, trying to stand by them and smoke, so they can actually see me and maybe try to interact with me first to ask for a cigarette, which is quite common in Belarus. So we were trying to force them to interact with us first, and the things we were talking with them about mostly about everyday life. So how do you spend your day? What you've been eating today? Where are you going to sleep? And it's appeared that most of homeless people we met in the streets of Minsk actually have places to sleep. They just having such type of lifestyle. And it's actually quite interesting because I will tell a little bit more about Belarus, so you will have a better understanding how it works. Before the big celebrations, before the big holidays, government just take everyone who are kind of homeless and they are taking them out of city, so people will not distract the celebration of our victory in the Second World War, for example. Yeah. Those people are live in landfills and the dumps outside the city, and we are mostly interacting with ones who live in Minsk, exactly. So we talked with them, and we tried to recreate for the players those feeling of everyday life. We did different. We make these different decisions about how hardcore should this LARP be. Do we want them to really sleep 3 nights outside? Do we want them to be cold and lonely? So we found this kind of form where players were actually playing for around 6 hours. 4 hours they spent in pairs, in couples in the city, just in the city, on the streets of Minsk. And the last 2 hours they were supposed to spend in a common backyard. So what we did? During the workshops, we helped participants to create a story and to change their social life, social role. First, we worked a lot about how do they look, about the costumes and makeup, because it's clearly can help you to neglect your your usual social role and not to be afraid, because you're actually going to walk through the streets. You're going every day. During the workshop, we created characters. The whole creation process was fully on participants. We helped them with some objects they could use from the previous life. We helped them with questions: how did it happen? Why? What was the point of your life when you started to act like that, to be like that? And during the workshops, we played. Participants recreated those moments with help of the other players, moments when they understood that their life is now going down. So each character had a history, created its own, and some reasons why it happened. During the LARP, we wanted to focus exactly on everyday life, on small details, not about a big survival thing, not about fighting and trying to change the whole system that, yes, we should not be homeless. But no, but just about very simple details about what to eat. Maybe they can find something interesting in the city. The workshops were happening in the first day, and the second day actually is about LARPing itself. So between those days, we asked participants to think and to notice things in the city they didn't notice before. So when the participants went home from their workshop day, they were trying to notice more, I don't know, for example, clouds. What do you think about clouds? How often do you actually look at the clouds when you're walking home? Children. How many children you can count when you're going home? Puddles. Pregnant women. How many of them do you actually notice during the day? And how does city interact with you when you're a usual person? And during the LARP, we asked them to focus on how does city interact with them now when they are having these costumes and makeup and a role. Everything started quite fast for the players. When they were leaving the workshop room to actually go outside and start the LARP outside, they had to go through the full hall of social media workers. They had a conference, and to go outside, we had to pass through the huge hall with people who are sitting with their iPhones and the best laptops ever. And now they're like a bunch of homeless going through this hall. I was scared myself because I felt uncomfortable and I was in normal clothes. I can imagine what did they feel. During the LARP, we used a lot of work of helpers. This is kind of LARP where you have no idea what's happening as an organizer. So me and two of my co-creators, we've been in this workshop room while during Sorry, it's my first talk in English. I'm so excited now, and I can lose the word. Sorry. Yes. Me and my co-creators, we were sitting in a room while all our players was somewhere outside. We had no idea what was happening with them. And to prevent some unpleasant moments, we use the help of helpers. Helper is a person who is following the participants in that far. The helper is a person who knows exactly where are they, and it's a person who watching them going and making some pictures also for us. A helper is not a player. It's not an NPC. It's just a watcher from the corner, and each helper had a set of clean clothes, of wet tissues, and passport of a player, and the letter that this is actually rehearsal for the theater. Because if we will tell the policeman and in the street of Belarus that we are doing a LARP or performance or something, things can get escalated very fast. So we try to prevent everything with everything we could. Actually, nothing. Those kind of situations never happened with us during the LARP, but it's always nice to know where are the players and that they are safe. And if for some reason they will feel bad, they can ask this person, please give me, I want to wash my face. These kind of things. After the LARP, we collected the memories of players. We asked them to give us a feedback and answer 3 questions. What was your story? Who was your character? What is the story of your character? How did your character spend the day? And what did you feel? What do you feel as a player before and after the LARP and during the LARP? And here are some words that people gave us. It's mostly pity to the character, questionable freedom, hopelessness, loneliness, being abandoned, growing spite. So these are emotions that people get from this LARP. And there were a lot of words about what people expected from this. Everyone thought that the players will be despised, that everyone will look at them and is like, no, go away. In fact, what they felt was indifference. No one actually tried to interact with them in like some negative way or positive way. In any way, these kind of people are very ignored by us, by society in general. And this is an actual quote from the feedback. I was afraid to be hated, but it turned out I had to be afraid of being indifferent to me. So this appeared that it's mostly about indifference. We also, after we made the LARP, we were asked a lot of questions from the society, from the people, about how can you do such kind of LARP? Because you are not among those people. What do you actually know about them? How can you tell that this is experience? This is the right experience. For me, I'm not telling this is exactly what you will get if you this is not exactly the feeling that you will not get their lives for sure. But it's kind of glance that you can take to understand such people better, which is exactly my motivation to write this LARP, to explore this field for me. And also people asked us, what right do we have to play with the city? How can we involve people from the streets if they didn't agree to be a part of the LARP? How can we involve them to participate? The point is, the players, the instructions from us was just walk through the cities, for the streets, and mostly noticed, try to live this life, but we didn't ask them to interact with people. It was it was just their choice. So the things we proposed to them was to ask for a cigarette, to ask for a time for a stranger. So some very, very small things that you for which one you will be not put into the prison, probably, hopefully. But also that will help you to interact with your social role now with another, like, usual citizens. And people did. Some people, some players even were looking for like something in the trash, which is quite brave. Everyone, each player, gave us quite a lot of feedback about what did they found in the streets they already know. So this is kind of LARP where you can actually found that your city is maybe not that kind of that you usually see it every day. And the question of social problematic was raised after that. People ask us, do you really, like, what do you feel? Do you know how to solve this problem? Do you know do you know where to go? I still think that my personal motivation is to explore this state, not to try to decide the social problem, which is also very questionable from the focus of other people, but that's what we have done. I can talk more about it, actually, but I don't think I have to now, according to the time. So if you have any questions and if you want to talk about it more when I'm not that stressed in front of camera, yes, you're very welcome to ask me, and I will be somewhere around here for the week. Thank you.